am so glad you could join me today. If you're new to this channel, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. Guys, today I am making one of my husband's favorite plantain chips. If you all like plantain chips and you usually buy them, I'm going to show you exactly how to make them today so you don't have to buy them anymore. You can just make your own plantain chips and you can make as much as you like, okay? So today we're going to make some plantain chips, so I'm going to show you how to do that. First thing I have here in this big bowl, let me put it over here, you can see it. I have some ripe plantains and I have some green plantains. So I'm going to start with the green plantains first. I have them here, I washed them and put them in this bowl. They're all nice and clean. So I'm going to take them out. Oh, they're heavy, it's heavy. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to peel these plantains. Guys, thank you for being here today. I'm so glad that you guys are here. Okay, so I have, let me see, I have a bunch of plantains here because I figure if you're gonna do it, I'll make enough that I can share with some friends, co-workers. And I'm gonna do my green plantain first. This is five green plantains, and I have 4 ripe ones in here. So I'm gonna set those aside and leave those for last. So right now what I'm gonna do is I just cut off the top of my plantain and just take a small knife and just kind of go down the center like that, and then I take the skin off. You can just run your fingers down through it and the skin starts to separate. Just run your thumb down along just to separate it. And that's it, guys. And if any is left on there, you can just take your knife and take it off. But it's pretty clean here. Let's set that aside, and I'm gonna go on to another one. And as a matter of fact, okay, so I took those other plantains out, so I'm just gonna put my plantains in here while I am peeling them. And go ahead, oops, and just run my fingers down the side to separate the skin. Sometimes it could be a little stubborn, but you get the idea of how to do it. And it comes right off. You see that? And just put it in there until I'm ready. We're making plantain chips, guys. If you've never had them, go ahead and give them a try. You will like them. Now that I've managed to clean all my plantains, now let me get rid of this. Rinse it out. Now in here, in this water, I have my 5 plantains, and this is what I'm going to do. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to deep fry these plantains. And if you see over here, I have my oil that's already heated. So the first thing that I'm going to do is to check my oil to see if the oil is hot enough. So what I'm going to do is right here, I have a grater. And because you want your plantains to be very thin for them to fry, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my plantains right here. Look, a little piece of skin is still left on here. So I'm just going to take that off. Take your small knife and just peel that off right there. And if there's any, okay. So sometimes you a little piece of skin or something may just leave on it, just take your knife and just peel it off like that, okay? And that's it. Now what I'm gonna do is this. Now because I had this in the water, I'm just gonna dry off the water off of it. And I'm going to take my grater right here, and this side of the grater is what I'm gonna use. And I'm gonna take one of them. This is how thin your plantain is gonna be when you do it from that side, okay? So this is what it looks like. So let's go over to the stove, because now I'm gonna test this, and this is gonna tell me if I'm ready, if my oil is ready. So let's go over to the stove. First thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna take a piece of plantain, and I'm gonna drop it in there, and you see it's bubbling, so it's telling me that the oil is ready. So what I'm gonna do now you have two options. We have a grater like this, where you can just grate your plantain straight in there. But just step back and make sure that you don't get burned, or there's nobody around you to get burned. Another option is to, like a potato peeler, and you just go like this. With your potato peeler and peel it right in there. I just do it right inside. You can do it this way, and if this way is not fast enough, you don't like this way, you just go back to this. This may be faster, and you just, but this is gonna splatter more, so you just gotta be careful how you do it. I just do it right inside. You can also do it on a plate, but then you need to separate them so they don't stick together. So I just do it just like this one time. Woo. I take my spoon and just stir it. You want to stir it to separate so that they don't stick together, so they'll be separated. And you want the bottom to come to the top and the top to come to the bottom. That's all that is. Okay? I put your stove like medium high. Then the process, you continue, you can keep adding more in there. Because this pan is wide, so I can add more to that. Guys, they're going on the floor. I'm going too fast. I guess I need to slow down a little bit. We don't want them to go on the floor, because then we can't use them. And then just stir it up to separate them. And that's it. I'm going to continue to do this. And we just want to bring the bottom up to the top, as I said before, so that just to rotate them so that, you know, it all get fried at the same time. Okay, and this is basically it. You just keep doing this all the time until they're done. Now I'm going to come in with this. You don't have to use this, guys, but I just kind of do this, and just to move it around, just to move them around. The plantain chips is just about ready to come out, and you know that they're done because when you move them around in the pan, you can hear that noise. Okay, you can hear that noise, that crispy noise, so you know that they're about finished. The bubbling has kind of settled down. Okay, and you see they're not stuck together, they're pretty good. So I am going to go ahead and take these out because I think they're done. Okay, you hear that noise? So you know they're done. So I have a pan here, a colander here that already has some in that I took out already. So I'm gonna add these to that. Just take them out and throw them in there. Just and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on to the yellow plantain, and I'm going to show you how I do those. I'm going to do those the same way. It's just that I'm going to slice them a little bit different. So the process is the same, the slicing is just different, that's all. And I'm going to show you. I mean, you can slice them this way too. It's not a big deal, but you know, sometimes we like to get a little fancy. And that's it, guys. This is how you make your plantain chips. So I'm going to set these aside to cool, and I will be back in a couple minutes. I'm going to start on a ripe plantain, and the process is the same. I had to put a band-aid on. I grated my finger just now. But the thing about a chef is you get a lot of dings. So you have to get used to it. And I'm just going to move this up a little bit. And then the process is the same as I said. You just take your thumb and then run your thumb down through your banana or your plantain or whatever it is that you have. And you do the same thing over here. You run your thumb down and you open it up that way. It opens up pretty easy that way. Sometimes it wants to give a little bit of trouble, but you get the idea of how to do it. Yes, so now I have my sweet plantain all peeled, and I'm going to use my peeler right here, and this is how I'm going to do my plantain. You see that? Like that. And this is how I'm going to do it, okay? So let's go over to the stove so I can do it over the pan as well. So we have our oil here again, so now we're going to go ahead and I am going to peel my plantain in here. Make sure that your oil is not too hot. Guys, when you're doing it, make sure your oil is not too hot. Otherwise, they're going to start to burn, and you don't want that, okay? And just drop them in there. And this is exactly what I'm going to do. And that's all I'm going to do, guys. Just like this. And this makes it nice and thin. See how thin it is? And that's what you want. Okay, guys? You have them in a pan. They tend to want to stick together. So, but you're going to separate them because you don't want them stuck together. Okay? And you're going to still continue to do the same thing as you did before. Just keep moving around in the pan. Okay, guys. So I meant to give you just plantain chips today, but you know what, since I have a whole bunch of plantains, I figure like, let me just go ahead and show you one more thing with plantains. Okay, I don't know if you make these in Barbados. I've never really seen them. I know Jamaicans usually make this, but let's make some plantain bakes. Let's use up our plantains. I have a lot of plantains in the refrigerator. Now you see this plantain look like this, the black color. People would say, oh, that's no good, and throw it away. Guys, don't throw it away. It is good. I didn't make these with the chips because they're soft and it's going to be hard to slice them and da-da-da-da-da. So we're not going to use these. We're going to more use the firm one, okay? These are, you know, you can fry these and so on as well, okay? So I take my plantain like this. You see what it looks like? It's nice and soft, okay? And you can also fry this. It's not going to be crispy. It's going to be soft, but it's going to be good. But today, I'm going to make with this some, guys, bakes. You know, I did pumpkin fritters before. I did bakes. I did pumpkin fritters, and I did corned beef fritters. Now we're going to do plantain fritters, okay? So you can mash your plantain with a fork, or you can just do this and just put them in a blender. To me, this is like much faster and smoother. You get a little bit smoother, and I'm gonna add a little bit of water to that just to help it to blend up. And that's it, guys. That's your plantain right there, the sweet plantain. Now I'm gonna make some bakes and add that to my bakes. Now, if you don't know how to make bakes, I already have a video up which I will put a link to bottom so you can see how to put the flour and you can add cinnamon, spice, whatever you want to your bakes, a little baking powder. So I'm gonna do that the same way because that's the basics. Okay, you need a basic and then just add this to that. Okay, so I'll show you in a minute, but let's go back over to our frying plantain over here, plantain chips, and see how they're coming along. You see, you get 2 for 1 today, guys. I was gonna do chips, but I just threw in that little plantain bakes just to show you. These are my husband's favorite. Guys, I'm making this bakes. As I said, this wasn't part of the plan today, but I just thought I'd show you this since I'm dealing with plantain and I happen to have extra plantain. Okay, so in here, and this is not magic, but as I said, guys, I have a recipe up there so you can take a look at that recipe. In here is some flour, some baking powder, a little bit of salt, and a little bit of nutmeg. In here to this plantain that I just blended, I add a little bit of sugar, a little bit of vanilla, and that's it, just a little bit of sugar and vanilla. So what I'm gonna do is add this to here, and I'm gonna mix it up. Okay, and we're gonna mix this up. And if you're mixing, guys, and you need water, you can add a little bit of water to it just to get the texture that you're looking for. Guys, if you're gonna do this, remember that plantain is sweet. It's very sweet, so you're gonna be careful with your sugar. Okay, so you're not gonna add that much sugar. If you would make like regular bakes, the amount of sugar that you would normally use, you could use half of that because the plantain is already sweet. So you don't want to put too much sugar in here. Okay, and I think this is about good right here. Look, I don't even need to add water to this. I'm gonna make it just like this, and I'm gonna drop some of these in the pan. And I decided to do this since I already have the oil and I have the extra plantain. I could as well just make some plantain bakes. So let's go over to the stove so we can fry some plantain bakes. I had this stove lower, so I'm just gonna drop a little bit in here to see if it's ready or not. I'm just gonna raise my stove up a little bit. It's still not quite hot enough. I'm gonna give it a few more minutes. Okay. Now I'm gonna drop my plantain bakes in there. You can make these softer if you want to. You can make them big. You can make them whatever size you want. It's whatever you're in the mood for, you feel like doing, you can do. There's no special nothing about this. Okay? But you can make yourself some plantain bakes, guys. Don't throw away your white plantain. A lot of people think that the plantain is bad when it turns black like that. But if it's, you know, you can usually tell if it's good or not. The bakes are in now. So they're starting to float to the top. So you can turn them if you like. So at the bottom, I made them big. So you can turn them so at the bottom part. These are kind of rough looking, guys. You can make them kind of neater. I just kind of threw them in there kind of rough looking, because this is not, I didn't really plan on doing this, but since I did the plantain chips and I had the oil here hot, I figured like, let me just go and throw one of the sweet plantain and make a little bakes with sweet plantain. So this wasn't something planned, but they look kind of rough, but doesn't matter how they look, it matters how they taste. Yum yum. Okay guys, we are all done. Let me show you everything that I did here. Now in here I have the green plantain chips. You can see right here. In here is the sweet potato. In here is the sweet plantain chips. And in here is some plantain bakes, which is a little bit rough, but they're good. They're edible. They taste good. And in here is a little bit of dipping sauce, okay? This is mayonnaise and ketchup and some garlic to give it a little bit of flavor. And you have your dipping sauce. So we have everything here for our snacks. But this is what I'm going to do. I have myself some plastic bags. Because usually, guys, when I make stuff, I like to take it to work and share it with my co-workers. And then they say, ooh, that is so good. So I like to share stuff. It's good to share. If you have friends and you want to share, it's good to share. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of my plantain chips and put it in here. My husband is not home right now. He went to Delaware for the weekend to visit his grandsons and his daughter. They live in Delaware. So I have to make sure I save some of these for him because they are his favorite. So I have to save him some. I'm thinking, normally I would just put the plantain, but I think I'm gonna mix the two together. I don't know if I should. Should I mix it too? I'm gonna mix it too. I'm gonna add so you can get a little bit of the sweet. You can see the difference, so you know what is what. And a little bit of, right? And then I twist my bag up. And I have these little ties right here, guys. You can get these from any store. I have my little twisties here. So if you want to give these to someone at your work, or wherever you're going to give them to, wherever they are, a friend, your neighbor, whoever, just make it look cute and give it to them, and you have your little twisty on it. And that's it, guys. That's it. See? Going to business and you want to sell. Of course, I'm not going into business to sell these, but I'm just showing you, okay? So that's one packet right there. So I'm going to go ahead and make a couple of these. And then I'm going to taste them for you and tell you what they taste like. I think that's good. I'm just going to put a couple of these in here. So you can tell the difference between the sweet ones and the ones that's not sweet. And then take my little twisty here and twist it around. And you got yourself a nice little packet that you can give to anyone. See that, guys? Okay. Now before I do any more of those, I'm going to go ahead and taste these for you. So over here I told you I have a little bit of dipping sauce. My daughter likes this dipping sauce. This is just mayo, ketchup, and a little bit of garlic. Okay? And here you take one of your chips. You dip it in your dipping sauce. That's a good combination. You can eat them just like this. Or some people prefer the dipping sauce. Okay? That is good. Tinaraine has done it again. She's done it again, guys. It's good if you like plantain chips. Perfect. If you like sweet plantain, there you go. Now, by the way, when you're making your sweet plantain, when you're making your plantain chips, if you want to, you can make a little bit of salt water and then pour it to your oil. It's gonna bubble up and then it'll settle down. You can do that if you want plantain salted plantain chips. So if you want seasonings, you can make your seasoning, soak them, and then so the flavor can go in and then fry them. Okay, your choice. So these are my rough looking plantain bakes. Okay, and just remember, when you're making these, sweet plantain they are sweet already, so you're gonna cut back on your sugar. Okay, this is good. I make these in the morning. Get yourself a nice cup of coffee, a nice cup of tea. Those are good, guys. Make yourself some. Okay, let me finish up. Guys, this was fun. I had fun making these to show you how to make them. Make yourself some little packages you can give to your friends. Make enough that you can share with your family and share with friends. It's always nice to share. I had fun making these. I hope you get to make some as well, and I hope you have fun making them. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. I love to read your comments. Until next time, bye-bye.